The Angola intake system. What really happens when inmates arrive? Before man ever steps foot into Angola, the largest maximum security prison farm in the United States, something happens that most people never hear about. Intake. Not the paperwork. Not the court documents. Not the sentence. Intake. A system so organized, so controlled, and so structured that it quietly decides where an inmate will live, what job he'll work, who will be around, and what his future inside Angola will look like. For the outside world, Angola is a farm, a massive prison stretching across 18,000 acres of fields, barns, workshops, and guard towers. But for the men arriving from county jails, the first thing they meet isn't the fields. It's the intake machine, a building where officers move with calm precision, where lines of inmates shuffle forward in silence, where every step, from fingerprinting to medical checks, has one purpose: to place each man exactly where he belongs. Some inmates arrive thinking they know what to expect. But the moment they step off the bus, the truth becomes clear. Angola doesn't greet new inmates with noise or chaos. It greets them with order, a structured, step-by-step process that has run the same way for decades, quiet, steady, and so detailed that by the time an inmate reaches his dorm, the prison already knows more about him than he realizes about himself. Intake is not dramatic. It's not loud. It's not violent. It's something stronger, controlled. And inside Angola, control is the first thing every man must learn. This is a story of what really happens the moment the bus doors open and the intake process begins. Stepping off the bus, crossing into Angola's world, the intake system at Angola doesn't begin inside a building. It begins the moment the bus rolls to a stop. For hours, inmates travel from parish jails scattered across Louisiana, some from small rural lockups, some from crowded city facilities, some who spent weeks waiting for this very transport. But nothing prepares them for the first sight of Angola, a guard tower rising over a long open road, miles of farmland stretching in every direction, and the quiet, the kind of quiet that feels like a warning. As the engine shuts off, officers stand outside waiting, not rushing, not yelling, just waiting. The door opens. A single instruction: let's go, one at a time. No one argues. No one hesitates. Because this is the moment every inmate realizes they are now entering a prison unlike any other in America. The walk to intake, slow, controlled. Unavoidable inmates shuffle down the metal steps, chains clicking softly with each move. The air feels different here, heavier, warmer, quieter. From the bus to the intake building is only a short walk, but it is one every inmate remembers. On each side, officers watch silently. Above, cameras monitor every step. In the distance, fields stretch far enough that the prison seems endless. No one talks during this walk. Some stare at the ground. Some look around trying to take in the size of the place. Some keep their eyes straight ahead. But all of them feel the same thing. The system has already begun. Inside RHO intake, a different kind of prison environment in Angola's intake area, known as RHO, is nothing like a county jail. It is bright, cold, organized, busy but not chaotic. Officers move with steady purpose. Nurses walk by carrying charts. Paper shuffles. Keys jingle. Radios crackle. No one raises their voice. No one rushes. Everyone knows their role. Inmates are lined up along a wall, waiting for their names to be called. Some lean against their chains to stretch. Others stand completely still, absorbing every sound. This room is where Angola's intake machine kicks into full speed. ID verification. The first step into the system, every inmate goes through identification first. An officer reads their name aloud. The inmate steps forward, still chained. He stands in front of a camera for his photograph, the one Angola will use for years. Next comes fingerprint verification. An officer presses each finger onto a scanner, watching the screen confirm every print. This step feels simple, but it's the moment each man officially becomes part of Angola's database. Once the ID is complete, the inmate is told, move to medical, another step in the system, another door to pass through. Medical screening, fast, professional, required in medical, the tone shifts. Nurses move quickly, following a tight schedule. Blood pressure, quick vision checks, brief health questions, skin check for injuries, TB test, mental health questionnaire. Inmates answer through short sentences. Nurses record everything. This isn't a long exam. It's a screening to determine if someone needs immediate medical attention or they can continue into general intake. Some men are pulled aside for further evaluation. Most pass through without delay. Clothing change. Leaving county jail behind after medical comes one of the most symbolic steps. Turning in county clothing, orange jumpsuits, county shirts, worn-out shoes. Everything is removed and replaced with khaki pants, khaki shirts, state-issued boots, socks, hygiene kit. County jail life ends here. Angola life starts in khaki. Many inmates say this moment hits them harder than arriving at the gate, because once they put on those clothes, they truly belong to the prison system. Property processing, recording every item in a separate section. Inmates hand over their belongings. Letters, legal papers, photographs, a Bible. Sometimes nothing at all. Each item is logged and stored. Nothing enters the prison without being documented. If something isn't allowed, it's stored for later or sent out. This step ensures that Angola knows exactly what each inmate owns from day one. The waiting rooms, quiet, tension-filled, necessary between each stage. Inmates sit in holding rooms. Concrete benches, bright lights, cold air blowing from vents. Some men sit quietly, lost in thought. Some tap their boots in rhythm. Some whisper a prayer. These rooms are where the weight of Angola begins to sink in. There is no going back, only forward, deeper into the system. Classification interview, the decision that shapes their future. This is the most important part of intake. A classification officer reviews. Charges, sentence length, disciplinary history, workability, medical needs, mental health notes, gang affiliations. If any, county behavior reports. Based on this information, the officer decides which camp the inmate will be sent to, what job he will start with, which housing unit he belongs, and what level of supervision he needs. This decision shapes an inmate's entire Angola experience. A single conversation can send someone to a calmer dorm, a field work camp, a working unit, or a more restricted housing area. Classification is quick, factual, and final, but its impact lasts years. The last steps, assigned, processed, and sent forward after classification. Inmates receive their bedding ID card, first job assignment, housing location. Some are nervous, some are relieved, some are confused, but none of them know fully what awaits them. Because Angola is not just a prison. It's a small city with its own rules, culture, and expectations. And intake is the doorway into that world. With their new ID in hand, officers line them up again. Another escort forms. Another walk begins. This time, the walk is longer, to the camps, to the dorms, to the fields. Behind them, the intake process resets. Another bus will arrive. Another list of names will be called. Another group will repeat the same steps, because intake never stops. And for the inmate who just stepped into Angola, the real journey is only beginning. Inside the machine, how Angola processes hundreds without chaos from most prisons. Intake is a room. But at Angola, intake is a system, a coordinated operation that runs all day, every day, without losing control. This system isn't loud. It isn't dramatic. It isn't chaotic. It moves like a machine built from experience, routine, and strict structure. And on the first full day of arrival, inmates begin to see how the machine works up close. The intake floor, where everything happens at once when the morning begins. The intake area fills fast. One room handles ID photos. Another handles medical screenings. Another logs property. Another processes clothing changes. Another prepares classification paperwork. Officers don't yell to be heard. They don't push or rush. They move in rhythm. A quiet, steady hum that keeps hundreds of inmates moving through the system without ever crossing paths or creating confusion. Inmates watch this and quickly realize Angola has been doing this for a long, long time. Nothing is new to staff, but everything is new to the men standing in line. Name called, step forward. Assembly line precision throughout the intake area, one sound repeats. Johnson, step forward. Williams, let's go. Martinez, picture next. Short, clear, steady. Inmates step up one at a time, complete their process, and move to the next room. No crowding, no rushing, no unnecessary conversation. Each man knows exactly where to stand, exactly where to move, and exactly what to do next. This is by design. Angola's intake system is built to remove confusion, because confusion leads to frustration, and frustration leads to problems. The system avoids problems before they even begin. The clothing room. Everybody turns into Angola. Here inside the clothing room, stacks of khaki uniforms fill metal shelves. When an inmate approaches, an officer measures them with their eyes. They do this so often they barely need to think. One officer hands him pants. Another hands him a shirt. Another hands him boots. Everything is done through the door or behind a barrier. No choices. No discussion. The inmate swaps out his old clothes for new ones and steps back in line. For many men, this is a moment that hits hardest. They no longer belong to a parish jail. They now belong to Angola. The khaki uniform is not just clothing, it's identity, a sign that they have entered a system much larger than themselves. Medical line. Quick, professional, and constant. The medical line moves quickly. A nurse checks blood pressure. Another takes brief notes. Another asks fast questions. Any allergies? Any past surgeries? Any medication needs? This isn't the place for long explanations. If something serious comes up, the inmate is sent to the medical dorm. If not, he flows back into the intake machine. Everyone moves. Everyone stands in line. Everyone watches the system work. The document room. Every detail counts in a secure office behind thick glass. Classification officers read through. Charges, sentence, length, court records, prior jail behavior, known conflicts, medical notes, mental health flags, work capability. Forms they sit at metal desks with files stacked high. For each man, they build a profile that answers a simple question. Where should he go in Angola? Work camp? General dorm? Medical dorm? Mentorship dorm? More restricted housing? Everyone gets placed somewhere, and placement will shape how they live for the next months and years. Some men walk out thinking they got lucky. Others walk out realizing the next chapter is going to be very hard. But no one gets skipped. No one gets forgotten. No one gets placed without purpose. The holding cells, waiting for the system to decide before being moved to their assigned camp or dorm. Inmates sit in holding cells that can fit up to 20 men. Concrete walls, vents blowing cold air, a toilet in the corner, a bench made of steel. Most men don't speak. Those who do speak quietly. Everyone is trying to understand. Where am I going? Who will be in my dorm? What job will they give me? What will life be like here? Some stare at the floor. Some stare at the wall. Some pray softly. Some try to look calm even though their stomach is tight. In this room, there is one truth. Angola is choosing where they belong, and nothing they say now will change it. Movement begins again, small groups. Big distance when intake groups are ready for transport to their camp or dorm. Officers call names in small groups. Brown, let's go. Phillips, let's go. Green, move with them. Inmates stand, line up, and follow the escort. The walk is controlled. Officers stay at both ends of the line. No one breaks formation. No one dares to turn around. The intake building begins to fade behind them. Angola itself begins to come into view. Fields stretching in every direction, tractors in the distance, dorm roofs far away, an endless land that seems to swallow everything around it. It becomes clear why Angola is called the farm. It is massive, it is isolated, and it is a world with its own rules. The final step of intake, entering the dorm zone when the group arrives at their assigned camp or dorm, the final checks happen. ID card verified, names checked against the list, last behavior warning given, bedding handed out, workers assigned, bunks chosen for them. Even this process is calm and methodical. Officers don't shout. They don't threaten. They simply do what they've done thousands of times before. Move men into Angola's living system. Some men step into a quiet dorm. Others walk into loud, crowded ones. Some join camps with strict work schedules. Others join dorms focused on programs or medical needs. But every man arrives knowing one thing. The intake system has placed him exactly where Angola wants him. A giant machine has taken his information, studied it, sorted it, and delivered him to his new reality. And now, his life inside Angola begins. The first 48 hours, adjusting to Angola's reality once intake is complete and inmates reach their dorm or camp, everything changes again. The paperwork is done. The interviews are finished. The photos, fingerprints, medical checks, all behind them. Now comes the part nobody can prepare for. The first 48 hours living inside Angola. This is when the prison stops feeling like a process and starts feeling like a world. A world with routines, rules, expectations, and a culture that has existed for decades. These first 2 days are where every new inmate begins to understand how Angola really works. Not from officers, not from movies, but from the environment itself. The dorm, loud, busy, and full of energy, a dorm at Angola, is nothing like a county jail cell. It is big. It is open. It is full of people. Rows of bunks stretch across the room. Fans hum loudly from the ceiling. Men move back and forth carrying towels, cups, clothes, books, or trays. Some sit at metal tables playing chess or cards. Others walk laps around the room quietly. The atmosphere is alive, not chaotic, but busy. New inmates enter slowly, eyes studying everything. Some men look up from their bunks. Others don't bother to notice. The social structure of the dorm is already in place. This is not their space yet. They must learn it. The first rule new inmates learn: watch before you act. Nobody comes into a dorm and talks loud on the first day. Nobody barges into groups. Nobody tries to be in charge. The first 48 hours are about watching. Watching how inmates interact, watching where people sit, watching who controls which areas, watching when the dorm quiets down, watching which corners are used for reading, watching which tables are for games, or writing. Men who rush in too fast make mistakes. Men who stay quiet learn faster. Angola is large, but dorm culture is tight. You must understand the rhythm before you move inside it. Old-timers. The first real teachers every dorm is older inmates who have been in Angola for years, sometimes decades. They don't act like leaders. They don't boss the room, but they guide the environment without ever raising their voice. These men give the first real lessons. Keep your bunk clean. Don't argue over small things. Mind your business. Respect everybody. Stay out of trouble, and you'll be fine here. Their advice is simple but powerful, because at Angola, small mistakes can make your time harder. Small respect can make life easier. The first 48 hours are where these lessons sink in. Receiving bedding and supplies. The start of settling in within the first few hours. Inmates receive sheets, blanket, pillow, hygiene kit, drinking cup, laundry bag. This moment feels small, but it's the beginning of ownership in a new environment. Their bunk becomes their space, the only area in Angola that truly belongs to them. Some men arrange their mattress neatly. Others place photos by their pillow if allowed. Some fold their clothes tightly to show discipline. These tiny routines create comfort in a place that is unfamiliar and overwhelming. The first walk around the camp, depending on the camp, new inmates may be taken on a brief orientation walk. Where the showers are where the phones are, where the yard is, where the chow hall is, where the camp office is, where the hobby shop or education rooms are. This walk is not long. It is not emotional. It is simply informational. But it tells every inmate the same thing. Angola is much bigger than they imagined. The distances are long. The buildings spread far apart. The fields stretch endlessly. The prison feels like a small town, a town where everyone wears khaki. Count time. The first real test of discipline. Angola's counts are strict. When the officer announces count time, the entire dorm shifts instantly. Men return to their bunks, talking stops, movement freezes, eyes watch the door, tension drops to silence. New inmates quickly learn that count time is not optional. It is the backbone of prison structure. Officers move through the dorm, checking ID cards and counting bodies. No one moves, not even to adjust their blanket. When count clears, men return to what they were doing as if someone pressed a resume button. This moment teaches new arrivals something important. Angola is controlled but predictable, and predictable is safer. Mealtime. Another layer of structure. Chow time is done in large groups, but everything runs smoothly. Lines form neatly. Men walk and order trays, slide down the steam line. Officers watch calmly. Conversations stay quiet. The dining hall is big, loud, and fast-moving. New inmates get used to stainless steel tables, quick eating, crowded rooms, the sound of dozens of voices at once for the first time. The quiet of intake is replaced by the energy of daily life. Nighttime. When Angola changes personality when lights dim, the dorm shifts again. Some men talk quietly with bunkmates. Some read or write letters. Some pray. Some close their eyes early. The nighttime has its own rhythm. The hum of fans, the soft clatter of someone moving officers, walking the tier with flashlights, whispers floating across the room. Angola never sleeps completely. It just slows down. For new inmates, nighttime can be the hardest part. The weight of the sentence settles and thoughts get louder. The reality of being far from home becomes clear. The size of Angola feels more intimidating. Many spend their first night thinking, how do I live in a place this big? What will tomorrow look like? Who will I become here? These thoughts are normal. Everyone goes through them. Angola is a world that takes time to understand. The first 48 hours are not about survival. They are about understanding. These first 2 days teach new inmates. The rules, the rhythm, the structure, the expectations, the culture, the patterns of daily life. Nothing here is rushed. Nothing is random. Nothing happens without purpose. Angola may be a massive prison, but it runs on order, and the first 48 hours show inmates exactly how that order feels. Once they understand this, they can begin to figure out where they fit inside the system. The intake building brought them in, but the dorm begins to shape who they will become. Work, movement, and the daily grind. Learning Angola's system once the first 48 hours pass, a new inmate begins a real transition. Not into intake, not into the dorm, but into Angola's daily engine. This prison is not like others. It is not built around sitting in a cell all day. Angola moves. Angola works. Angola runs on routine, manpower, and discipline. And for every new inmate, Chapter 4 of their Angola experience is the same. Learning how to move inside a prison the size of a small city. Report times. The start of every day before dawn. The dorm lights snap on. Not loud, not chaotic. Just a sudden, bright reminder that the day has begun. Inmates sit up, grab their boots, fold blankets, and prepare for count. Once count clears, the camp officer's voice rings out. Work line. Let's go. This is the first major shift every new inmate must adjust to. Unlike many prisons, Angola is built on routine work. Whether it's field work, kitchen duty, maintenance, cleaning, or support roles, everyone has a job. The walk to work, dust, heat, and distance in Angola is enormous, over 18,000 acres, and the walk to work shows it. Long lines of inmates move down. Dirt roads, gravel paths, shaded walkways, open fields, officers on horseback or in small vehicles track the group from a distance. There is no shouting. No panic, just movement. Boots hit the dirt in slow, steady rhythm. Some men talk quietly. Others walk silently, absorbing the size of the prison. New inmates feel the shock. Everything is far here. Nothing in Angola is just around the corner. Every job site feels like a journey. Field work, the heart of Angola's system for many new inmates. Their first major job is a field line. The assignment is simple, but demanding. Cutting grass, clearing brush, maintaining farmland, tending long stretches of empty fields, working under direct supervision. Men stand in long lines, spaced evenly apart. Officers, often on horseback, oversee the work calmly. The field isn't about punishment. It's about routine, structure, and helping run a massive prison farm. Some inmates eventually move to lighter jobs, but almost everyone begins here. And the first week is always the hardest. Not because of the work alone, but because of the heat and humidity Louisiana is famous for. The sun is harsh. The hours feel long. The boots feel heavy. But the routine remains steady, predictable, and controlled. The other jobs, a city's worth of work in Angola, is not just fields and fences. It has a hospital, a ranch, a wood shop, a metal shop, a kitchen that feeds thousands, a mechanic bay, a print shop, educational programs, cleaning crews, laundry facilities, maintenance teams, chapel programs. Every part of Angola relies on inmate labor. New arrivals might eventually find themselves repairing tractors, washing huge loads of laundry, building furniture, or helping prepare meals. The prison assigns jobs based on classification, behavior, skill, medical need, security level. But no matter where an inmate ends up, one reality is the same. The workday shapes everything. Movement rules. The key to staying out of trouble movement in Angola is orderly and predictable. Walk on the correct side, stay in formation. Keep the line moving, no stopping unless told, no arguments on the walk, no wandering off officers, don't yell unless necessary. Most corrections are simple. Keep moving. Stay right. Let's go. New inmates quickly learn there is no reason to test movement rules. The system is too big, too smooth, and too structured to fight against. If movement is safe, the day stays safe. Everyone benefits. Returning from work. Exhaustion meets routine when the shift ends. The walk back to the dorm feels different. Sweat-soaked shirts, dust on boots, slow steps, quiet conversations, men carrying tools or equipment back, there's a sense of tired acceptance. This is how the days go here. Inside the dorm, showers begin immediately. Lines form, but they move steadily. The dorm buzz returns. Men talking about the day, others cleaning their area, some playing chess, or cards, some writing letters, some resting with eyes closed. The routine is strong enough to hold the entire camp in rhythm. Meal times, fast, loud, and structured. Chow time at Angola happens fast. Trays stacked, steam rising from metal counters, long lines of men moving through, officers directing traffic conversations, bouncing around the hall. New inmates must adjust to eating quickly, navigating crowded tables, and following the flow without slowing down. By day 2 or 3, they fit into the rhythm naturally. Evening count. The anchor of the night as the sun sets over Angola's massive fields, the prison slows down. Count time resets the day. Men head to bunks, talking stops the room, goes still, officers walk row by row. This is one of the most important moments of the day. Every inmate, new or old, understands the seriousness. Because when count is off, the entire prison stops. When count is clear, the dorm returns to normal conversation and movement. The Angola night. Quiet but never fully asleep. Once the day ends, the prison becomes calm again. Fans humming overhead, soft conversations, men reading or writing, officers doing night round, occasional laughter, or quiet arguing. New inmates often feel the weight of Angola most at night. The fields outside are silent. The wind moves across open land. The dorm lights dim slowly. The day's exhaustion sinks into their bones. And for the first time since arriving, many new inmates begin to understand Angola not as a place, but as a system built on work structure, routine, distance, discipline, respect. And the new inmate realizes Angola isn't just where you serve time. Angola shapes how you live your time. The system sets in when Angola becomes your new reality. By the time an inmate reaches the end of his first full week in Angola, a quiet shift begins to happen. Not in the prison, but inside the inmate himself. The shock of arrival fades. The fear becomes quieter. The confusion clears. And slowly, Angola stops feeling like a place he's visiting and starts feeling like the new normal. This is the stage where the intake process truly ends and the long journey of doing time in Angola officially begins. Chapter 5 is about understanding how inmates settle into this new life, how routine becomes identity, how work becomes rhythm, and how Angola transforms from a prison into a world of its own. Finding a place in the dorm. The unspoken order. Every dorm in Angola has an invisible structure, and new inmates begin to understand it by the end of their first week. It's not written down anywhere. Officers don't explain it, but the inmates learn it naturally. Which bunk areas are quiet, which corners are active, which men play cards, who spends time reading, who keeps to themselves, who talks too much, who minds their business, who does not. The door becomes a map, a living map that teaches new arrivals where to sit, where to walk, and where not to get involved. Inmates learn quickly that being loud at the wrong time or getting involved in the wrong conversation makes life harder. So they adjust, they watch, they understand the rhythm. Building routine. The tool that holds everything together. Routine is not just part of Angola. Routine is Angola. By the end of week 1, new inmates start locking into the cycle. Wake up before dawn, line up for work, walk long distances, complete their job, return dusty and tired, shower, fast count time, chow, evening, wind down, lights dim, repeat at first. The routine feels overwhelming. Then it feels predictable. Eventually, for many men, it becomes the one thing that keeps their mind stable. Routine doesn't erase the sentence. It doesn't make Angola easier, but it gives structure in a place that could easily feel too large to understand. Learning Angola's culture. Respect goes both ways, unlike the movies. Angola is not a place where people yell all day or fight nonstop. Real Angola culture is built on 2 simple principles. Respect staff. Respect inmates. Not fear, just respect. Men who talk calmly, move correctly, and follow rules often find that officers treat them professionally in return. Officers at Angola don't need to shout. Routine handles most of the discipline. In the dorm, inmates follow another unwritten code. If you didn't start a problem, don't join it if someone is working on bettering themselves. Don't interrupt, keep your area clean, handle disagreements. Quietly never get in the way of someone else's time. These simple rules keep peace in the dorm with 50 to 70 men living shoulder to shoulder. New inmates learn that Angola is not run by strength or intimidation. It's run by order. The first work checkpoint. Showing who you are by the end of the first week. Supervisors watch new inmates closely. Do they work steadily? Do they complain constantly? Do they follow directions? Do they show effort? Are they respectful? This isn't about punishment. It's about understanding who will make life easier and who might make life harder. Men who work without trouble often get better job assignments, lighter duties. Over time, more trust, more stability. Men who cause problems don't. At Angola, reputation builds fast and follows you into every job, every dorm, every count line. New inmates learn that effort is noticed, sometimes more than they expect. Meals, movement, and moments of peace as days pass. Inmates begin noticing small patterns that bring comfort. The same officer making rounds at the same time, the same smell coming from the kitchen during dinner, the same cleaning crew passing by each evening, the same groups gathering for chess or dominoes, the same men reading quietly after lights dim. These predictable moments become anchors, tiny pieces of normalcy inside a massive prison. For many men, Angola becomes manageable not because it gets easier, but because they understand the environment better. Letters, calls, and the outside world. One of the biggest emotional moments in the first week is the first chance to contact family. Some men receive letters from home, handwriting that reminds them they are not forgotten. Others line up for the phone and hear a familiar voice for the first time since leaving county jail. These moments don't break routine, they fit into it, and they matter more than anything else. For many new inmates, one letter or one phone call can reset their mindset entirely. Programs, opportunities. The path forward by week 1 or 2. Some inmates get their first look at Angola's programs. Educational classes, GED, literacy training, vocational skills, chapel programs, farm training arts, and crafts, hobby shop, mentorship dorms. Not everyone joins right away. Not everyone qualifies. But new inmates learn quickly that Angola is a place where you either grow or do nothing. The choice becomes clearer every day. The moment intake ends, acceptance by the end of the first week, the inmate reaches a quiet realization. Intake is over. This is my life now. Not in a hopeless way, not in a dramatic way, just acceptance. Angola is no longer overwhelming. It is understandable. The fields, the dorm, the work lines, the routines, they all begin to make sense. And this understanding brings a strange kind of calm. For the first time since the bus doors opened, the inmate feels grounded because Angola's intake system is not designed to shock people. It is designed to organize them, place them, teach them, and prepare them for the long road ahead. The intake process brought structure. The first 48 hours brought understanding. But Chapter 5 brings something deeper. The moment an inmate mentally transitions from arriving at Angola to living inside it. When the system becomes a life inside Angola by the end of the first days and weeks inside Angola, something becomes clear, not just to the officers who run it, not just to the people who study it, but to every inmate who walks its long roads and sleeps in its crowded dorms. Angola is a system that teaches you how to live inside it, not through force, not through fear, not through chaos, but through routine, through structure, through steady, predictable order. From the moment the bus doors opened, the intake machine began its work. The ID photo, the fingerprint scan, the medical check, the clothing exchange, the property log, the classification interview, the long walk to the dorm the first night. In a room full of strangers, these steps don't feel dramatic, but they reshape a man's entire future inside the prison. Intake is not just paperwork. It is placement. It is preparation. It is the moment Angola decides where someone fits in its massive world. And once intake ends, the prison takes over the rest. Angola does not move fast, but it moves with purpose. The work lines at sunrise, the dusty roads stretching across fields, the steady hum of the dorm, the count times that freeze the entire camp, the chow hall, rush the evening calm, the quiet moments before lights out for new inmates. The first days feel overwhelming, but slowly a pattern forms. They learn who to speak to and who to avoid. They learn when to move and when to stay still. They learn the rhythm of the day, the order of the dorm, the unwritten rules that hold thousands of men together. And then one day, without even realizing it, the new inmate wakes up and understands, I know how to live here now. This is not acceptance of the sentence. It is acceptance of the system. A system that has been built over decades, shaped by thousands of men before them, and held together by work, discipline, and routine. Inside Angola, intake is not the beginning of prison life. It is the beginning of understanding how to survive it. Those first moments stepping off the bus, those first interviews, those first nights in the dorm, they become the foundation for everything that follows. Years from now, many inmates will barely remember their first meal here, but they will remember that first walk into the intake building, the first time they put on khaki, the first time they understood how massive this place truly is. Because intake is more than a process. It is the moment Angola becomes real. And once the system takes hold, the rest of life inside the farm begins. Thank you for watching the Angola intake system. What really happens when inmates arrive? For more real, research-based documentaries about U.S. prisons, transfers, daily routines, and hidden correctional operations, backhand index pointing down like, comment and subscribe to support this series on HFD Achive crimes.